Greetings and blessings, my good people, and welcome back to this year-end edition of Curious Naked Diatribes. Folks, this is the time of year when I get all philosophical, so please bear with me. I was going to do a kind of year-in-review episode talking about all the crap, the raids, the wars, the bailouts, but you know what? It's too much. It's just too much right now. For one thing, my mom broke her hip and had to be in the hospital for replacement surgery. Merry Christmas. That really got me thinking. I mean, there was a time when hip surgery used to mean a death sentence. I mean, that was it. It was all downhill from there. But even though the procedures have made great advances, and in her case, the whole thing went relatively smoothly, it did make me appreciate that much more the time I do get to spend with her. She's dealing with Parkinson's, and her mobility has seriously declined in the past couple of years or so. So maybe in a way, her surgery was a blessing in disguise. We all got to spend some precious extra time with her and help her rally to recovery. We all had a good laugh while she was on her pain medication. She was in rare form, let me tell you. So that was my Christmas. Not that I was planning to do anything this year. I was already planning to opt out, cancel it, boycott Christmas after this crap year. Everything except for the spending time with family part. It really got me thinking about my own mortality, what it is I want to do with the time I have left. I've been archiving and cataloging my podcasts recently, and it occurred to me that this coming January will make 10 years I've been at this. 10 years. Listening back to some of my cringy first episodes, I have to say, I've learned a lot. And interestingly, 2016, the year I started podcasting, seriously, was also an election year. Though I didn't really start out with a specifically political podcast that you've come to expect from CND. Mostly, I just wanted to show people a truer picture of what was going on in the U.S. Virgin Islands, its people and their lives. It was called Travelogue Podcast, because at that time, I had enrolled in this online travel journalism program. It offered certificates in writing, photography, and video. But what I really wanted to work with was audio. I thought a podcast would be a perfect way to present a side of St. Thomas most tourists would never see. 2016 was also a time when I was really developing my political thinking and forming my anti-imperialist position. It was the year I went to Cuba with a delegation from Witness for Peace, only a few months before Fidel Castro's death. Thinking on it now, that really was a symbolic shift. For the worse. Trump enters, Fidel exits. I remember thinking at the time, if Trump wins this thing, I'm out. I'm gone. I'd seen enough of his neo-fascist tendencies even back then. And so the following year, in 2017, I left for Guatemala to study Spanish with a return ticket that never got used. Quetzaltenango, the second largest city in Guatemala, was a breath of fresh air for me. Quetzaltenango, or Shela, offered a pace of life that was worlds apart from the rat race I'd come to know in the U.S. It was there I found my home away from home at Entremundos, a Guatemalan NGO. It was there that I saw a documentary film that would make its political mark on me, Cuando tiemblan las montañas, When the Mountains Tremble, about Guatemala's 36-year armed conflict in which nearly 200,000 indigenous Maya were killed by U.S.-backed military regimes, all in the name of keeping the commies out of Central America. Seeing that film changed me in a real and lasting way. It spurred me on to learn more from books like I, Rigoberta Menchú and Galeano's The Open Veins of Latin America. But this wasn't just learning about some abstract history, but rather a continuation of a living one. I could sense that in many ways, Guatemalans were still healing from these wounds, and that the 1996 signing of the peace accords only marked the guerrilla armies laying down their arms. Many of the undercurrents of imperial power remain in place to this day. So, living outside the US really opened my eyes. And thinking back now, it provided much of the foundation of my political education. Now let's zoom forward to 5 years ago when Radio Entremundos published its first episode. Radio Entremundos is a project that grew out of a podcast collaboration with Entremundos. It was during these early collaborations I had the honor to interview Aldo Davila, the first openly gay man to be elected to Congress in Guatemala, and the second from the LGBTQ plus community. Sandra Moran, a lesbian, was elected to Congress in 2015. In Guatemala, and in fact, just about anywhere in Latin America, social issues like these are a pretty big deal. And I'm happy to say that today, through its magazine and now the podcast, Entremundos continues to carry out its important work of promoting human rights and social justice in Guatemala, interviewing notable writers, musicians, indigenous youth, and human rights workers. I'm quite proud to be part of this project. I remember doing a special episode for their 20-year celebration. So here's to 5 great years with Entremundos. And I look forward to many more. Now, quite a lot has happened since I left Guatemala. And believe me, that's another story in itself. But now I'm back in the United States, in a secret bunker in northern Colorado, reflecting back on these last 10 years, all the great people I met, and experiences I had through the process of podcasting. I'm thinking about how I want to celebrate that and carry it forward for another 10 years. One way is with Javi Media Radio, a new online radio station launching this coming year. You can find out more by sending an email to javimediaradio@proton.me. So I hope you'll stick around and stay tuned for that. I know I'm super excited. So 2026 is on the horizon, and I invite all of you to think about what's happened over the last decade in your life. What were you hoping to achieve in your life a decade ago? How did it all play out? Have you failed to reach those goals? Are they still possible now? It's never too late to start. Thanks for listening. Que todo sea amor. Walk tall, live free. Javi Media.